Hello everyone, this is Rick and thanks for joining. This is the 17th Excel tutorial, and today I'm just going to give you a brief overview of how to create charts and how to change charts and modify them. I'm going to jump right in here. What I've done here is I've created a chart of salespeople over here under the employee column, and I've created 12 months of data captured here of sales, and then I've totaled their sales over here in this column N. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a chart with the employees and all of their monthly sales. Now, one thing I do want to point out is in this case here, you wouldn't want to choose the total column because it would skew all the rest of the data in a chart. So that's a lot of data to chart, and I'll show you how busy that is. So I've highlighted all those cells. I click Insert, and then again I go to the charts. Well, what kind of chart might make sense for something like this? Probably a column chart. So if I went over here and I choose 2D column, and we could say we'll do a clustered column. Okay, you can see it's a lot of data to put on one chart. I'm going to go ahead and spread it out a little bit to make it a little bit more legible. So what it's done here is it gave us a legend of the sales folks, and it gave us for each month, it told us how much they have in sales. So quite a busy chart. Another thing you can do is if you need to change your chart type, you'll notice once you create a chart, you get the chart tools option up here. If you go into something else like home or something like that and you need to go back to chart tools, just click chart tools, and then you have all these chart options here. So for example, under design, if you click the down arrow here, you'll have loads of options here to choose from. Alright, another thing, if you go again under design, you can change your chart type, you can save it as a template, a whole host of options here. So in this case, we're going to go ahead and leave it as a column for now. Actually, I'll change it to a line real quick just to show you. Okay, so kind of a busy chart. Again, column might be probably be better for that. Go back up here to change chart type. Let's go back to column and just choose the default option. So one other thing I want to show you here is under layout, you have several options. You know, if you want to modify your labels for your data, things of that nature. I'm going to go over here and just add a chart title and say I'm going to add it above the chart, and I'm going to call this sales performance. Okay, and you can edit the font or whatever you'd like to do with that, but I'm just going to leave the default one like that. Again, now you can copy and paste this into a Word document or some other file that you're working in. So probably a little bit more realistic. I'm going to go ahead and delete this chart, highlight it and delete it. A little bit more realistic might be doing like the first quarter of the year. Insert, column chart. Right, a little easier to read, a little better to break out, and a little bit more legible. So another common thing that comes up in charts that can cause a little bit of frustration is you might want data from, in this case, column A, and you might want to total their sales for whether you're tracking by week or year or month or whatever it is. So I'm going to highlight column A here from A1. I'm going to click the mouse, hold it down, drag it down to A7, and then I'm going to scroll over to the total column. But of course, if I just click here and drag it down, it's going to unhighlight or unselect the other cells. So I'm going to hold down the control key. I'm going to click on cell N1 here, the total column, and I'm going to highlight and then let go of my mouse and my control key. I'm going to scroll back over and you see that's highlighted also. So now I'm going to go insert, and now this might be a good place for a pie chart. So I'm going to go ahead and choose a 2D pie chart, and you notice what happened here. It just created a nice clean pie chart, but it probably needs to be cleaned up quite a bit. So probably want to change the title, sales totals we'll call it, and then we probably want to add a little bit more information here because it doesn't tell you unless you highlight it here how much sales each salesperson has. So I'm going to highlight the pie chart here, I'm going to right click it, and I'm going to say add data labels, and you see it just added them wherever it fit them. So we might want to clean that up a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and say format data labels. And you can choose different options. I'm going to say outside end, and you see what it does. Okay, so you can highlight that again, format data labels, and you can play with it and figure out what works for you. And there's all sorts of options, borders and things of that nature. Of course, you can right click this chart and change the chart type right here, or you can go back under design and go to change chart type. Anyways, that's what I want to show you today. I'm not going to go and do lots of examples. I think you get the general idea here, and I'll be posting more tutorials soon. Let me know what topics you want to see, and I'll be glad to post them. Thanks. Bye.